All right, Brandon, let's take a look at your paper. MLA format first. Everything looks good. Although I'm going to assume that you are in English 12 now and not 11. I know you didn't copy this paper from last year, so that's okay. Untapped gold mine of curing cancer is okay. I'd love to have a little bit more pizzazz maybe in there. So you start off with this quote, which is good. Remember, around your this will be quotes. So within the parentheses will be quotes. And the part that I am not a huge fan of is, I mean, your paper is very tongue-in-cheek as far as, oh, all you have to do is cure cancer. It's so easy. But, I mean, look at some of your word choice here at the beginning. They only dream about instead of striving to achieve it. Required to become a prominent and prosperous individual. To some, it's the only way to get out of life in this era. So I feel like that you really could punch up some of this word choice in here to really get invested into that whole, curing cancer thing. So I don't know. I think you can really utilize a little bit more better diction to create better voice. Okay. Go through your main points. Your thesis is at the end. I know we talked about this quite a bit. And I still don't know if there's a huge theme yet, but I'll see how it works out, because basically, as far as why you have to do these steps, like what's the theme? I get intelligent, quickly. So we'll see how those things, play out once we get to the actual essay part. All right, so topic sentence still is weak, Brandon. We want to say it's not just that you become a professional gambler to get to medical school. You got to be specific as far as what the step is really going to do for you. It takes the least amount of effort possible. So, I love this voice. It's sort of to think that you'll fail. So it sounds ridiculous. Don't say multiple sources claim that the members of the gambling community agree. Just say members of the gambling community agree that you need this to become a professional, for example. And then I'm assuming, is this actually a gambler, professional gambler? And if so, say that right out loud. Remember, when you have the quote here at the end of the sentence, you don't need that period there. You need it here. Therefore, proving that you can't let so this is a sentence fragment. Here is where you can add really good voice. So extracurricular activities must be forgotten as well. No more church, sports, clubs, and community events. Here is where you can get a little bit more specific to add a little bit more voice. So no more church, rugby club, sewing circles, or volunteering at the soup kitchen, or I don't know, you can get even more crazy than that. But adding those little flourishes in there just give your paper that much more. Much more originality. Overall, it's a small price to pay to make it to the top of becoming a world-renowned player. Just the comma there doesn't work. Here's a comma splice. This is the part again that adds a little bit more voice to it too. It's not like you're gonna win every time, buddy. That kind of I wouldn't say obviously name calling the whole time, but or little terms of endearment, but I think you can add a little bit more flourishes like that. I think it's good. I think it works well. I'm not sure what this means. Keep records, like, is that just money records, like how much money you're making? Because you then after that you quickly go on to the next part of tactics. So I'm not exactly sure what that means. You have a comma splice here. You're on to the last part. Now this would be a colon instead, since you're introducing this. All right, so you're going to talk about card counting eventually here as your best topics. All you need, etc. I don't know if dictionary.com for your source is the best way. I would rather use like another gambler's quote about card counting, or from a more like a self-help guide for card counting. I don't know. I feel like you could use a different source for that. Could take you a whole day. Despite that, you'll have acquired the money needed for the next step of getting into medical school. So this is kind of your topic sentence too. So I'd like to see a little bit of separation, and maybe that means your topic sentence needs to change and not focus on the medical school, but you need to become a professional gambler to accumulate wads of money. I don't know, something, and then talk about medical school more down here. All right, I do enjoy the relatively interesting theme of how everything is just so easy, and I still think you could actually add more to that in some of these places, but we can get to that in a second. Like even the card counting, like, you know, you brought up that you could be unlucky and take a whole day. Well, you know, you could even emphasize that more with Jesus. It should only take you a few hours. I mean, I can't believe anyone, you know, wouldn't be able to do it. All right, I still think your topic sentence is weak here for Harvard. I like how it's relatively straightforward. Now, I don't know, this is almost like another little mini preview of your whole paragraph, which is fine to use, but it's almost a little bit your topic sentence. I just don't know if I want all that information in the topic sentence. Gaining entry is pretty clear, you know, comma splice. Simply go to their website, follow the instructions, and you'll gain entry in a heartbeat. Maybe even add in, like, you know, make sure you bring up, you know, all the things you've learned as a professional gambler, and that will really win the heart of the administration staff. I love the 3.7 acceptance rate. I would want a citation for that. Scare tactics. See, that's really funny. This is really funny. Clearly, anybody can get one without a problem. So that's the kind of voice you really want to see. It's the number one university in the world. You don't have to capitalize that. Again, your citation will have those quotes here, remember. So now it's kind of come with a study system. See, I don't know. I guess this is an okay quote to use. I feel like, I don't know if it's, you know, really the most interesting quote, because you just kind of, it doesn't add anything. It doesn't give you any outside sources. I mean, I could have told you that you have to experiment with study methods. You have the whole citation problem here, and punctuation problem here, Brannon, too. You got a period here and a period here, and you can't do that. All right, so this is the part where I say you can really use some better voice here. So you say the methods of studying could be this. Each is easy, but choose a method that's close to your comfort zone. Also, you'll be under stress. Here's a comma splice. So just pay others to write your essays, and the rest of it is basically about cheating. Okay, so here's what you could do instead. So, you know, this is just me. I would say some losers might try to study by going to class, by doing this, by doing that, by doing this, and list some very practical things. And this is just my idea. But what if your idea is basically you're rich, right? Because of all this money you have from gambling. I would just hire somebody to walk around with you constantly. They would take notes. They would write your essays. They would do all your homework. And then Harvard will just think you guys are like best friends or something. But really, you know, you're paying for him to live with you. You're paying for him. Like, you have all this money. Why not just pay somebody to do all your work for you? You know, and then they could even, like, walk in and take your test for you, since, you know, it's a big university. Nobody knows who you are. So, you know, that would be my thing. I think you could still use this quote, like, and I really love in reality, Germany couldn't be more wrong. So that's really funny. You know, this is obviously a made-up statistic, but I bet you could find even one that is about cheating, and then you could make it, you know, turn it more on yourself, like, oh, you know, if people get caught, they get kicked out of college. Well, that's not going to happen to you, obviously. Anyways, and you get into the bulk of that information down here, but that was just my idea, how you could add your voice into there, and all of that. Okay, so you can undoubtedly breeze through medical school painlessly, making you one step closer to your future goal of curing cancer. So you have a transition there that works well. All right, so the end is almost here. Maybe like exclamation point, since this is a comma splice here. And to milk the money out of every sick individual, making billions off the cure. So maybe this is a modifier problem. And milk the money out of every sick individual. This should really be a comma here, or move this. Or, you know, you're paying for him to live with you. You're paying for him. Like, you have all this money. Why not just pay somebody to do all your work for you? So, you know, that would be my thing. I think you could still use this quote, like, and I really love in reality, Germany couldn't be more wrong. So that's really funny. You know, this is obviously a made-up statistic, but making billions by milking the money out. Anyways, you got to rearrange the sentence. All right. Again, I like the idea how it's relatively easy. Should take about a week. This is get rid of this at the front here. This makes it seem like a sentence fragment here. Just say some individuals might try to put you down for that. I love it's uncomplicated and an easy job. They want to get rich by curing cancer, comma, too. So I like that sentence. Again, like it might take a week or so. All worth it in the end. See, even this doesn't sound like what you really should say. Once you use your knowledge that you gained from Harvard, you know, it'll be I don't know maybe what to say, but it doesn't seem like it'll all be worth it in the end, because of course it's gonna be worth it in the end. You want to say something else. You count the money you earned over time. Now, I actually would not include that yet. You have cured cancer. Now you need to distribute it. This is a cliche, so don't say that. And I would even try to get specific with this, like how much money are you gonna charge them? Did you cure it for over 200 different diseases, or is it just a couple? So on. So if this is an optional step, Brandon, you're already going to be rich and famous from curing cancer and selling it to a company. Do we really need to add the whole stock market thing in there? And from military.com, I'm not exactly sure why that is a source for that. And then we have the whole punctuation thing here. And you can live the life of luxury, so that's good. All right, so you repeat your thesis. You have your main points. And this is where, again, I feel like your voice is weak here. To influence you to take that dream, enable you to act on it rather than wait. This is a fragment sentence. And never, ever just repeat your first sentence as your clincher as well. That's just weak. So you want to fix that. Now, here's a couple problems. Most of this is fine. If this was really the author, then you shouldn't have used this as your citation. It should have been her last name. And again, last name if it was really somebody. And then this guy's name is Ding, Alex for this. And again, if this really is his webpage, that's fine. But just be careful to make sure that these really are the authors. And if so, why did you start with this? Because your works cited page is always whatever comes first. So just make sure you understand that in the future. Okay, Brandon, not a bad paper. I think you definitely got a few things that you can do to make it better with voice and with organization and punctuation and sentence structure, but definitely a good start.